can tuck in your smoke and stare at your breath. But then there are times you can't hear a pin drop. Your eyes turn towards me and the whole world stops.
G'day Sydney, how are you? Nice to see you there. Hello everybody, it is 11 o'clock on a Tuesday in Sydney and it's a little bit overcast, but that's okay. I actually got my jab yesterday, my Pfizer, my first one, and I got a sore arm. Hi Pete, how are you? Nice to see you, g'day. And so I'm sorry, I won't be playing any piano today. It just, it's fine, it's just when I do a sudden movement, then it, ow, and I slept on it, which probably wasn't too smart. But I thought, well, obviously I've got to get the jab in my left arm. Hi, Stu. How are you? Hi, Harry. Lovely to see you all. Move your arm as much as possible. It helps. Oh, there you go. Well, I wanted to make sure I was going to be fine for my piano gigs. So I'm not going to play today because when I was trying and then I did a sudden movement. Oh, do you have a side that you sleep on? Because when the nurse asked me what side I wanted the needle in, I said the left because I'm right-handed. But then I think, you know, really, I play piano with both hands. I drive with both hands. Most things I do with both hands. So does it really matter? And I should have been smart and thought about it because I sleep on my left side, like almost all the time. So all night pretty much. I started on my right side. And then during the sleep, I'd turn over to the left and then I'd go, ow, and then I'd wake up and turn over to the right. So no picking up Smokey. Hey, Chip, great to see you live. I was just explaining that I got my vaccination yesterday, so I've got a sore arm, so I won't be playing any piano. I want to make sure, yo, Lou, how are you? I want to make sure my my piano playing arms are back before I have to play on the weekend. But I mean, you know, the jab didn't hurt. It's just that, yeah, I think I just slept on it all night. And so, yes, I'm just giving it a bit of a rest. So I'm sorry you're stuck with me talking and showing you videos. I hope that's okay. I hope everybody is well. My international friends probably know we're having a little bit of a COVID spike here in Sydney. And I know, you know, it's pretty funny that we make such a big fuss when we've got about 10 cases. But I know, do you like it, Lou? Welcome to Twitch. I'm just going to put this up so everybody can see. Ooh, you can't see me now. Well, that doesn't really matter, but I'll move. So, yes, Twitch it's not old age. No, well, it might be partly, but it's my vaccination I just got. So yes, we have a few people on Twitch there. It is an insane platform, and you know I'll definitely survive. Look, I'm not complaining. I'm just giving you an excuse why I'm not playing the piano. And yes, so Twitch. Are we still buoyant on the ocean after vaccination? I'm still buoyant. I'm just, my arm is a little bit out of action until at least tomorrow because I've gone ahead and slept on the arm and made it more sore. But, I mean, the jab didn't hurt at all. It was really, I mean, the whole process was so efficient. And, yes, I'm thankful to have it done. But just, yeah, I'm just not playing the piano because when I do a sudden movement, it hurts. Just a little bit. I'm sure I will survive for sure. But yes, lovely to see some people on Twitch there. If you haven't had a look around, basically Twitch is like YouTube, but everything's live. I mean, people do play pre-recorded stuff as well, but it's mainly for live. So if you ever want to just hang out and catch some live music, some cooking shows, I mean, it started off as a video gaming platform, which is, you know, not the way I like to spend my free time. I like to play the games. I'm not interested in watching anyone else, people I don't know, playing them. But I know certain 11-year-old boys love that. And that's where Twitch started. But now it's really about everything. So people are just creating their own TV shows and doing regular little broadcasts. And it's a really good platform for that. So we don't have anyone on YouTube at the moment, but I'm streaming to Facebook, YouTube and Twitch at the same time because why not? So if you haven't already had a little look around Twitch, not now because you're busy watching me, But later on, have a little search around because there's some really, really cool stuff. And, and it's all free and you can join in the chat and it's all... I mean, who would have thought years ago that we would have TV on our phones and our computers that we can actually talk to? Because there's one thing seeing, say, live music, but generally you can't make your comments known, and now you can. So how cool is... Oh, yeah, I know. There's girls in bikinis in a blow-up pool in their living room. There's all sorts of really random things, but people are random, aren't they? So, it's a window into humanity. And I think it's the most amazing things. You get notifications for all three. Brilliant. That's what is supposed to happen. But, I always wonder if it actually does work properly. So I hope everyone's had a great week so far. I had a lovely weekend, lots of fun gigs. But I remember before I did a gig on the weekend. Oh, you mailed me something. But I should already have it because our time zones. Yes, I know. I don't know if it works that way. So in real life, mailed me something, as in an envelope or as in email. Anyway, either way. Good morning, Grace. How are you? Lovely to see you. I've been looking at your photos that you've taken recently in Japan. It just makes me miss Japan. Envelope. Oh, an actual real thing in the mail. That's fantastic. That's so rare that I get anything in the mail that's not a bill. So, yes, I'm assuming you're not sending me a bill. Maybe you are. It'll be a bill for all these hours I've had to watch you. 50 cents an hour. That's my invoice. So, yes, I did lots of fun gigs on the weekend, and it got me thinking. There was one place that we did a gig. Mush Mushy, how did you know I was going to talk about that? I can afford it. I can afford 50 cents an hour, maybe, sometimes. Oh, Japan, it's my favourite country in the world to visit. And, I lived there for 18 months, and it's not easy living in a place where the culture is so dramatically different and the language is dramatically different. But who wants easy when you're, having adventures? It really was the most amazing experience. And that's where I met the lovely Grace. In fact, Grace was my flatmate, as we call them in Australia. I think you call them roommates in the US, and you probably wonder why we have mates that are flat. But that's because we call apartments flat. No, I'm sorry, Sydney. No purple people eater because, I was really going to play that. But, just given the old arrest today. But I did a gig on the weekend where our changing room was a locker room. So it's at a club. And I'm not going to mention the club because the idea is not to put down people that are, putting on live music events. You have family from and in Japan, Chip. What a fantastic, fascinating place. I just love it. So, yes, on the weekend I did this gig and our change room was a locker room. It was actually a men's locker room, and to get to the men's toilet you had to go through the locker room. So we decided not to use that and just use the bathrooms instead. And back in 2020, early 2020, I started to do a little series of vlogs about backstage areas because I don't know, I think it's interesting and, just wanted to give you a little window into part of my world that you might not normally see. And so I put together a whole lot of footage. This is mostly from early 2020. But I have to tell you one story first. We turned up, it was to do a Mac show as well. We turned up at a particular club. And as I said, the idea is not to criticise the venues we work at because some venues are putting on music and maybe the venue wasn't tailor-made for that. It was supposed to be a club of some kind and it was never meant to be a music venue, and that was, a thought that came later. And so the changing rooms and all those kind of resources aren't actually there yet. You've probably had some backstage nightmares as well. But you've got to laugh, don't you? You've got to make a joke of it. I've actually had some. I have a couple in particular that are literally broom closets. So I couldn't even put my arms out all the way and turn around. It's so small. And, some of these places I'm doing cabaret shows where they expect you to wear ball gowns. And, you know, the floor is dusty and there's spider webs in the corner. It's just a shocker. But this one particular club which got me on the idea of doing a little bit of a backstage, the good, bad and the ugly. Great club, great stage area, big dance floor, but we were shown to the backstage and we all walked in. You know, there's 7 of us and there's guys playing pool because it was actually the pool room and not a backstage area at all. Anyway, we're like, hi. And the guy's like, oh, hi. And we said, oh, sorry, we're the band. This is actually, you know, it's going to be our backstage area. And they said, oh, no worries, we'll finish our game. So about half an hour later, the other female singer and I, because we're the ones that tend to want to really get changed. The boys might change a shirt and they can do that just about anywhere. Oh, I miss you too, Grace. I would love to be back in Japan. Hopefully I can come and visit you again soon. And so half an hour later, the other girl and I are going, we really need to get dressed. And we said to the guys, oh, sorry, we feel so rude. And I know this is your pool room, but just for tonight, it's our backstage room. And we're actually going on in about 20 minutes. And, we need to get dressed. And like, oh, yeah, you're almost finished. Anyway, it was getting closer and closer. And I mean, they're patrons of the club. It's not up to me to boss them around. So I went to one of the supervisors and I said, look, I feel a bit funny about this, but would you mind asking the guys to leave because we really need to get dressed? And it's just this big open room, so we're not exactly going to take our clothes off in front of them. And so the supervisor came up, oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, no worries. And he told the guys to leave, which they did. And, and all was fine and they understood. But then we said, so we were just about to get dressed. Before the supervisor left, we said, oh, by the way, when we're on stage, can we leave our valuables and our bags and everything back here? Because it was actually quite a long way from the stage and, anyone could have walked up. And he said, oh, yeah, no worries. I'll lock the door so no one can get in. Oh, anyway, there's security cameras over every inch of this room, so it's quite safe. And I'm looking at the other girl going, security cameras over every inch of our dressing room? So we went to get dressed in the toilets. Really? There's security cameras over every inch of our dressing room? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm going to play you this little vlog that I put together. It's actually the soundtrack is my song Mosh Moshi. So it's so funny that you mentioned that. And of course, everyone probably knows, but Grace definitely knows. Mosh Moshi is what you say in Japan on the phone. It's like, hello, are you there? And I just loved it. Just the sound of Mosh Moshi, Mosh Moshi. And as far as I know, you don't use it in any other context. It's only Mosh Moshi. Hi, Curtis. Lovely to see you. Anyway, this is my little vlog. Backstage, the good, bad, and the ugly. Which one? That's not the one. What a beautiful view, huh? Only problem is this is my dressing room and there's no curtains. And the stage is just behind here. So you've got to watch out that the audience can't see you getting dressed. So, to my backstage series, here we are. Now this room. Oops. I look better in the dark anyway. This room used to be quite a good dressing room, but now... But to the backstage area. Okay. Now, you're probably thinking, that looks all right. There's some lounges. That's all good. Over here, more lounges. So, plenty of places to sit and have a chat. And then you see this. What's that doing in our backstage area? So basically, this is our backstage area. Get this. Yay! But, honestly, I'm not complaining because sometimes it's worse. And the staff here are really great. They do actually really look after you. So I feel a bit guilty poking fun, but you got to say, it is a bit funny, isn't it? So this is the backstage of Trudgy Beach Hotel. You can see it's quite a big music venue. You gotta love the walls. I'm doing the Fleetwood Mac tribute show here at Django at Camelot, and I thought I'd just show you around a little bit. So yeah, I love this band room. It's very, very cool. Lots of retro stuff, lots of interesting artwork, and they have great pizzas.
Infatuation, pack up all your worldly goods, find a safer neighborhood, push him off his pedestal.
Hi there. Well, you've seen some of the worst changing rooms, green rooms, backstage rooms in Australia. Now here's one of the best. This is one of my favourites, and you probably recognise it from some of mine and a lot of other artists' photos, like promo photos.
You're in the market for a fairy tale, a white horseman that will never fail to thrill you and intoxicate you, find a way to complicate you, shatter your sobriety.
Everyone's always getting photos backstage here because it's so lovely, and they think of everything. Look, we've got the full-size mirror, very comfortable chairs, ironing board, somewhere to hang your clothes. These might seem like normal things, but I can assure you they're very rare. A fan when it gets hot, an actual iron. Oh, everybody loves the mirrors with the little lights around, don't they? Look at this beautiful lounge. The scene of many a photo shoot. Toilets, kind of need those. Shower. And this is only one of the changing rooms. Have a look. Dressing room 1. Here's the stage entry. Okay, nice backstage area. Hall of Fame. Okay, look at this beautiful big space. Green room where they actually serve you food and drinks. Yeah. Not short of a nice mirror or two. Look at this cute little room. How mod is it? I love this. Great colour. They've just really thought of everything. It's so rare. Often a club will renovate, and they renovate the bit that the audience see, but they don't. The backstage area is, a broom cupboard. Okay, so this is dressing room number 2. Oh, hi Marilyn. Also fabulous. Look at that. We haven't even finished yet. There's another one. Number 4. Very masculine, I think, this one. How great is this? This is the juniors. We still call it Souths because that's what it was called in the old days after the Souths Football Club, but it's still a football club, but they call it juniors nowadays. Oh, I love those chairs. There you go. So sometimes it is glamorous. Chisel. Australian crawl. Shido Echo. The Mentals. Oh, is that Jimmy? Jimmy Barnes. Doc Neeson. Hang on. Ooh, that's the real thing. Hey. Our special little band room, where the important stuff goes on, the eating. I do love the styling in this venue. Hi. Yes, I am taking you to the toilets because believe it or not, the toilets are really cool. Check this out. I love it. There's Madonna. So rock and roll, don't you think? Okay, we don't need to see the toilet. Very, very cool.
There's David. And you like how we're on first name basis? David, my mate David. Very cool. Twiggy. Oh, there's Madonna again. Can't have too much Madonna.
The backstage is cool.
He's leaving and he's leaving the country. No, not trying to work.
Yes, Liza. Stewed, screwed and tattooed. So there you go. It's quite a mix, isn't it? And I think the difference is obviously when it's a theatre, it's a custom-made venue for entertainment. But if you think about it, in a lot of the big clubs, where in Australia, in Sydney particularly, a lot of us play. Well, yeah, a lot of different states, but you're exactly right, Chip. You never know what you're going to get. Until you get there. And sometimes it's a big surprise because you walk into a really fancy club, for example, in Sydney, and everything is really new and shiny and lots of space and everything you could possibly ask for. And it's been newly renovated, so you think, oh, wow, imagine what the backstage is like. And it's a dump, and it's the only place that they haven't bothered renovating. And it often is a reflection of how you get treated, unfortunately. I have been to... I've been to many venues that are not necessarily fancy and you get treated royally, and that's more important than the physical surroundings. But it does make me wonder when a lot of these places renovate and the only place that they completely ignore, I know I've got crazy earrings today, is the backstage, the area. That's right, the good, the bad and the ugly, absolutely. And it's kind of, I think it shows a lot of respect when a backstage area is really fancy and really welcoming, because the only people that are going to see the backstage area are the performers. So I think a lot of venues think, well, why should we bother? Let's put all the money and the time and the effort into the paying customer area. But I think any good employer knows that you treat your staff well and you get better work in return, don't you? It ends up being something that benefits everybody. Oh, Curtis, you came back for a second. Lovely to see you again. I know. Hung Donkey, I am a fan of Blondie. I'm a massive fan of Blondie, and I'm about to talk about that because I do a Blondie tribute show, which is why I went blonde in the first place. I had green hair before this, and then blue, purple, and red before that. Anyway, yes, I saw these earrings, and you might have noticed in the past I'm a fan of big earrings, but I saw these and they're not round. Hi, Wayne, how are you? And normally earrings have a kind of a round or a gentle hanging effect so that they are actually practical and they don't bump into your shoulders like these do. But, I mean, fashion and practicality are two different things in my opinion, and I love these. I think they're more photo shoot earrings, so you'll go... and a nice shot will be taken rather than they get in the way of your shoulders. And I just moved my shoulder. If you've just joined us, the reason I'm not playing any songs live today is that I got my Pfizer jab yesterday, and then I slept on that arm, and it's actually really sore. Anyway, speaking of Blondie, as Mr. Hung Donkey was on YouTube there, I've got a Blondie tribute show on the weekend. We do a Blondie... Yeah, one wrong move and goodbye earlobe. Absolutely. Well, it's nice to carry around your weapons with you, because I just have to yank it out and I could use it like a throwing star. And it's got a pointy end, so I think, it's actually quite a good idea. We all love Blondie, right? I do a Blondie versus Pretenders tribute show. And when I say versus, it doesn't mean that you can only like one or the other, because how great are the Pretenders as well? But there's a friend of mine, Serena, who plays the Chrissy role, and we do a couple of Blondie songs, couple of Pretenders songs with the same backing band. But we tell the stories about the two groups and how there's quite a lot of crossover in some ways in their path to success. And so it has a really big kind of story woven through it. I personally love the show. It's one of my favourites to perform. But I thought I'm playing there on Sunday at Beaches in Thirroul for those who are local. And here is a little bit of some live footage from a previous Blondie versus Pretender show. And of course, the biggest Blondie song that they ever had success-wise, and the one that most people seem to love the most, is Heart of Glass. And did you know that Heart of Glass was produced by an Australian producer? In fact, Blondie have got all sorts of connections with Australia. When they first released their first single here was Rip Her to Shreds. And that was on one side of the single, because we're talking about the old school that are back again, vinyl. And on the other side was, the B-side was In the Flesh. And Molly Meldrum, who is a big personality on Australian TV and the music industry, he was known to be a bit of a fumbling, bumbling, but very lovable and very musically literate and knowledgeable man. But he had a TV show called Countdown, and it was always, he wasn't the most articulate guy. And I'm fond of Rapture. I love Rapture as well. Maybe I'll play Rapture for you another day. And yes, Hung Donkey, and the band did a whole lot of cocaine in the day. In fact, I not long ago finished reading Debbie Harry's autobiography, which she openly talks about all of that kind of stuff. But she survived, and I think she survived really well. Anyway, this song, Heart of Glass, was hanging around the Blondie repertoire for ages, and they really liked the song, but they couldn't quite get it the way they wanted to. It was a little bit reggae. It was written about one of Debbie Harry's ex-boyfriends. Eventually, this Australian producer came along and said, and it was also, the 70s disco era. And so they said, let's turn this into a disco smash hit. Even though, Blondie had been quite famous for doing stuff that was quite punky. But here is our version. This is our tribute version of Heart of Glass. asking, do I prefer Blondie to Pretenders? It's a good question. I love both bands, always have, but Blondie, I particularly love Blondie. I think Blondie would have the edge for me. But having said that, I've seen Blondie and Pretenders, both the real bands, live, and I got to say, because I wasn't around when Blondie was at their peak, I saw them much later. And Pretenders totally wiped the floor with Blondie as far as a live show. Debbie, I don't know, her singing wasn't great and she looked a bit tired and didn't have the energy. And, I hate saying anything negative about Debbie Harry because she's a massive icon of mine. And gosh, she's got to be in her 60s. So she's doing amazingly well. And Chip, who is here watching from Facebook, has actually met Debbie and says what a great girl she is. So that's all. David, I was just thinking about you. Where have you been? Did you just come? Where's the note from your mum? Anyway, lovely to see you. I'm only kidding. I'm doing the Blondie versus Pretenders show on Sunday at Beaches. And it's funny because I dyed my hair blonde, particularly to do that show. Because even though we don't actually impersonate when we do our tribute shows. Hey, Curtis. Oh, thank you. We don't impersonate. I still felt like I had to be blonde to perform that stuff. And it's interesting, Hung Donkey said I sound a little bit like Debbie Harry. I think that's... Hi, Phil. How are you going? Good to see you. You got drunk and fell asleep, David. It's your excuse. You're not supposed to write that in your note to the teacher. You're supposed to write, I was so busy doing my homework, I ran out of time. It's nice to hear you telling the truth. So we don't try and impersonate the bands that we do in tribute shows. Some tribute shows do, but we don't. We rely on having amazing musicians. And actually, if you noticed the clip that I just played you for Heart of Glass in the Blondie versus Pretenders show, the bass player and the drummer, our rhythm section there, are actually from Icehouse, still working in Icehouse, which is, one of Australia's most successful, prestigious bands. And it's just such a thrill for me to be working with people like that. But yes, I did feel like I had to go blonde. And it's funny, I've always had brightly coloured hair through my life and I'm kind of missing it. I feel a bit ordinary with blonde hair. And then just as I was thinking, maybe I'll just go blonde, I'll go another colour again, I get an offer to do another different Blondie show and touring all around Australia. So I'll probably be blonde for a little bit longer. Having said that, we have had a few little COVID spikes lately. Just when we thought we had a handle on it, we hadn't had any cases forever. And now, I haven't checked this morning, but I think it was 9 yesterday. And so some of the venues are starting to get nervous again. Some people met Stevie Nicks. Well, she's awesome. Yes, I know that. Sydney is mentioning a show at the Virgin Hotel Casino called 27. Long story, but there is the lady that did all my last lot of photos for the album cover of Wallflower and everything. Her daughter is playing the Amy Winehouse in that show. And her daughter, can I tell you, if you ask me who my favourite music artist was right now, I would say this girl. Her name is L Freak. So I think you pronounce it L Freak, and it's L''Freaq. I would highly recommend you check her out. I'm just totally in love with her, and I tell her mum all the time. And she's playing the Amy Winehouse in that show because I've seen all her little clips and everything on Instagram. So I'm sure that will be a great show. If that's the standard, she's amazing. So, no, I don't only do female songs, Hung Donkey. I've done an Eagles tribute, Pink Floyd, Rolling Stones, all sorts. And when I do my little solo stuff, I do a lot of male songs as well. There is something about female songs, though. It depends on who the artist is. But sometimes male songs, obviously I change the key anyway, but sometimes the range of the melody is limited and it doesn't feel as good for my voice as a female song, but that's not always the case. Hair in my song Stolen. So, one day I'll have crazy hair again, but at the moment, while I'm in Blondie world, and it's a world I'm happy to be in for a while, I think I'll be blonde. So yes, just if you have just joined me, I got vaxxed yesterday and I've got a sore arm, so I'm not playing the piano at the moment. I'm sure it'll be totally better tomorrow, but I've been sleeping on the arm all night and making it feel a bit worse. But David, I was just thinking of you earlier because I'm about to play a clip that I know you're going to hate. So I'm sure you just wanted to join this live stream to see something you're going to hate. And you know what? A lot of people are probably going to go, oh, that's disgusting, but I couldn't resist. And I'm in Australia. I just wanted to remind you, I'm in Australia, and this is what Australia's like. Yes, sorry in advance. Yes, they are cobwebs. How disgusting is that? So I just wanted to remind you that, you know, as beautiful as Australia is, that's the one is yin and one is yang. I'm not sure which one is the positive or the negative, but yeah, that one of the downsides of living in Australia is we have lots of spiders and lots of things that, you know, biting you and that kind of thing. My accent exaggeration, I know. Sometimes, you know, you actually meet people that do talk like this all the time. And when I was growing up, my mum sent me to, I suppose it was called speech training at my school, but some people call it elocution. She wanted me to sound more posh than our family actually were, I think. I don't know why, but I did go to a private school too. People tell me I've got a private school accent. But it does depend. I think my accent sounds neutral, so, you know, I don't think I sound posh at all. But probably for an Australian, I do sound a little bit posh because some Australians really don't. We do have some of the most deadly animals here. And I'm kind of proud of it. I mean, look. Can you see that deadly animal behind me? Sometimes she is deadly. She just, you know, comes and bites me for no reason. Hey, Hung Donkey, where are you watching from? You have cicadas here. They come out every 13 years. Wow, that sounds like a long time for a cicada to live. Or is it just a seasonal thing? I'm glad you're laughing, David, and you haven't left to go and drink more after showing you that. Did you see? That's Smokey. That's my Maryland. Ah, cool. Yeah, look, you look into the wildlife of different countries and I find it really fascinating. So I've been really busy still getting ready for my album launch, and as you will know if you watch regularly, I've got an album that came out earlier in the year called Wallflower. But it's coming out on vinyl, and this happens every single time I do an album launch. You think you're really prepared. Hi, Fred, how are you going? You think you're really prepared, and you're going to get, in the past, it's been the CDs, right? That's been the physical copies of the music that I've had in the past. And, you know, you get them, you have to send them to manufacture and do the mastering, and that's a big, long process. But you always leave all this time to make sure that when the actual launch event is happening, you will have the CDs there. And so I was planning to do this launch event back in January. And then I actually got a record deal for vinyl from American label Renaissance. And vinyl takes a bit longer, so I was going to do it in May. And then I heard about the vinyl shortage throughout the world because a record plant burnt down and a lot of the lacquer that goes into making the vinyl disappeared. So I thought, okay, I'll leave it a bit later. And they said, oh, if you do it in June, there'll be plenty of time. And then I thought, I'm just going to leave a little bit longer just in case. So thanks for asking, Sid. I know you have no idea when the launch is on. It's July. He's being my promo wingman. Thank you. Not Brad Pitt. It was Tom Cruise. I would love to be close to Brad Pitt. Oh, I'll get to that in a sec. But so the actual launch is July 22nd, which is a few days after my birthday. So it's going to be my birthday party too. But it's a launch event where we'll do a live show, and there'll be lots of interesting video backdrop stuff happening, a multimedia experience that'll be live in Sydney at the Civic, used to be called the Civic Theatre, the Civic Underground. But it will also be live streamed, and you can watch it for 5 days afterwards if actually live time, which will be 6:30 p.m. for us. If it's too ridiculous for you, you can watch it later. My birthday's the 19th of July. Australia gave you American Mel Gibson. I know, right? Australia gave America Mel Gibson, I should say. He used to live up the road from me. Not that I ever saw him, but David's mentioning a clip that I put up on Facebook yesterday. I used to do a lot of extra work when I was getting my music career started, and I did Mission Impossible 3 as an extra at Randwick Racecourse. You've been waiting a week to say that. And I was there at least 5 days. Actually, funny story. That's right, I'm a day older than your mum, Sydney. So there were hundreds of us. I mean, if you've seen the movie, oh my gosh, there's probably thousands of extras in the movie. And I was just in one scene, which is Randwick Racecourse, which is near where I lived at the time. And they had this massive room that was probably some kind of restaurant thing, I think, decked out for all the extras. So there were hundreds of us in this big room, and it rained for the first 2 or 3 days that I was on set, which was why it took so long. But they have to still pay us, and they have to wait for a break in the weather, and you can imagine the money. Oh my goodness, spent on this. I mean, not just on us, but on everything. Tom Cruise was actually director as well as the star of that movie. And so we were all sitting in this room. It was really fun. I'm still friends with some of the people I met during this time. And what was I doing in that scene? Standing there. It was for my acting skills, that I got hired for that. Anyway, they had to feed us, of course. And so the entire time, all I did was talk to these new friends I was making and eat. So I'm not going to complain. I think we got like $15-20 an hour or something. It was fun. But at one stage, I was busing to go to the loos, and there were no toilets in the actual building. And so I said to my friends, anyone want to come to the toilet with me? And like, no. If you're a girl, you want to take another girl to the toilets. It's like tradition, right? I was looking at a race book to pick a horse. Well done, because it was at the race course. That's what I was doing in that scene. But so I walked out, and as I said, break in the weather. And there is a really good song from Jenny Morris called That. I think that's what you're referring to, aren't you, Stu? Anyway, so I walked to the toilets, dum-de-dum-de-dum. It's like, a little bit of a trek to get there. And I see a guy coming towards me. There's no one around. They must have hired the whole race course. There was no one around. And there's a guy coming towards me in a baseball cap. And as he's getting closer, I'm like, oh, my God. I think that's Tom Cruise. And I hadn't seen him. None of us. We'd been stuck in this room the whole time. Not complaining. It was fun. But we hadn't seen any of the actual actors. As he gets closer, it is Tom Cruise, so I'm freaking out. And as he gets, this close, he goes, hi, and he flashes that megawatt Hollywood smile. And I kind of, as he walked past. And I literally didn't say anything because I was so gobsmacked. He wasn't the size of a child, but he did, that's in answer to Hung Donkey, he did look smaller in real life than he did in the flesh. But I was never a Tom Cruise fan particularly. I know a lot of women really lusted after him, and he's not really my type. So I was a bit shocked about how impressed I was. And I wonder if that was just his good looks, which he certainly does have, or just the fact that he's so famous, kind of gives you a thrill. Anyway, I went back and to all my extra friends, I went, you're never going to believe it, you're never going to believe it. And I tell the story, and they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky. Anyway, later on in the afternoon, I need to go to the bathroom again. I wasn't the only one going to the bathroom. Everyone was going to the bathroom at different stages. But I said to the guys, I'm going to the bathroom again. Maybe you should come with me. I might see Tom Cruise again. And they were all laughing. Guess what? Nobody else had seen him before. So I walked out and I see him again. This time I recognised the baseball cap. So as he got closer, I went, hi, how are you? And he went, I'm great, how are you? That's my terrible American accent. And I was so pleased with myself that I didn't just go, ugh, this time. And I went back, and I don't think they believed me. I said, I saw him and I spoke to him. So excited. And then when the rain actually did clear, turned out me and the other extras I'd been sitting with were placed kind of just there, right near him. In fact, some of the extras got fired on the spot because they couldn't take their eyes off him, and they weren't meant to be looking in that direction. So, it was hard. It's like magnetic. You just want to check out what Tom Cruise is doing. But if you see the little clip on my Facebook page, I only got it recently. My mum and I went to see the movie when it came out, but that was ages ago. And we were keeping our eyes peeled, and we actually did see me, but it seemed like such a split second and it was gone. But my family were watching it on the weekend, and I went, now we have the technology. I can actually get a little bit of the footage, and it turns out I was in that little 4 seconds that I posted, and there was another few times, and you can see about this much of my face at the best. So yeah, hilarious. Oh my God, we're up to 21 in Sydney. COVID numbers, Stu just told me. I haven't checked today. That sounds like nothing I know for my overseas friends, but for us, that's big time, and that means things are going to start closing down, which is bad for my work. The venues will start freaking out. So yes, I'm waiting. As soon as I get off this live stream, I bet you I'm going to have some calls and emails. And look, I'm glad we're being so strict, and I'm really glad I got my first jab yesterday. But it's not good for business. But it's worse for business if we let it go and then it goes out of control. So wish me luck. And I've got all these interstate trips. I'm going to Northern Territory to do some shows in Alice Springs. I'm definitely going to shoot some video up there. I'd love to show you that place. It's just incredible if it happens, and that's in October. Crossed fingers. Hopefully things will clear up before then. Okay. Chukas, yeah, thank you. I know up to 21. What kind of numbers are you experiencing in Arizona at the moment, Sydney? That 21 looks good. I thought things would be looking much better, even though Australia's been absolutely amazing getting on top of COVID. We're a bit rubbish with the vaccination process. It's being super slow. And I got mine yesterday, and I got to say, David said you could not raise yours for a week. I can raise it. It's not hugely painful. It's just when I was playing the piano, I got a twitch every now and again, which made me make mistakes, and I just thought, I'll just rest it for a day. I wonder what we are dealing with as far as no-go for COVID here in the States. Yeah, look, it's been so different in every country, but you guys have been much better at your vaccination process. It's been really efficient once you go in and you get the vaccination. It's just, I don't know, I think we were a little bit behind or down on the list of actually getting the vaccinations because we had no numbers for so long. Oh my goodness, 10,000 a day here in England. What a shocker. We do have Outback Steakhouses in Australia. Do you have like those Australian tribute restaurants? Because sometimes we get American or Irish or whatever tribute restaurants. They're terrible, are they? Oh, sorry about that. Steak's usually pretty good in Australia because we have a lot of beef cattle. So maybe you need to come over here and try our steak restaurants. 385 new cases and 5 deaths in one day? Oh, my goodness. Oh, I think, Hung Donkey, you're talking about an actual chain. That's probably not Australian. You know, there's a lot of things that are overseas that sound Australian, but they're not. Like, Foster's beer is Australian, but nobody in Australia drinks it. It was designed actually for their overseas market. That's one day. Oh, my gosh. But at least your vaccinations are really, really happening. So hopefully that's a chain. No, I don't think we do have a chain called that in Australia. Maybe we do. I don't know. But it's probably not Australian anyway. Or maybe it is and it's just rubbish here and that's why I haven't been. It's also those, there's a whole lot of products that are called Aussie and they're like shampoos and conditioners and that kind of stuff. And they're not Australian either. So I hope one day that you'll all come and visit me when travel restrictions are lifted, and Australia's being very strict, of course, as it is being with everything. And we can't go anywhere, and no one can come here. But that'll change, hopefully, 2022. Outback steakhouses. So, okay, that's a thing that you guys all know. Yeah, I don't know if we have it here. I'm not sure. Stu, do we have it here? My other Aussie friends, I'm not really sure. I am a vegetarian, by the way. Oh, we do have a couple of Outback steakhouses in Sydney. There you go. No, I wouldn't be interested because I'm vegetarian, but I didn't used to be, and I actually do love meat. Long story. It's a health reason why I don't have them anymore. But we do have actually, the food in Australia is excellent, I got to say. We have a really good mix of different nationalities, like you do in America, and they've brought a lot of really good food to Australia. I think like when my mum was growing up, the food was pretty rubbish. It was, no offence to Fred and to my other British friends, because I love England and I love Britain in general, but it didn't used to be known for its good food. I know that's different now. And when my mum grew up, it was a very big English influence and the food was stodgy and no good. Then we had, a lot of Asian influence and the food became fabulous. Because, I don't know, depends what you like, but Asian food tends to be fresh, light, healthy, varied, really tasty. My mouth is watering right now. And we also have very big Italian influence. And Australians are big foodies now. And we're also fairly healthy, so we don't have such a big culture of those kind of chain restaurants. And we still have McDonald's and all those things, of course, but it's not something that many of us would do. I wouldn't go to one of those restaurants, for example, because I'm very health conscious. How can you not eat meat? I know. Look, to be totally frank, I had breast cancer, and meat is not your friend when you've had certain kinds of cancers because of the proteins and the toxins carried in meat. So I have tried crocodile. And I have tried just about every single animal because I actually went to Africa on a safari and tried all the animals there. And as I said, massive fan of meat, which is probably why I got breast cancer, partly. If you do the research, you find there's actually way big link between the two. Yeah, eaten plenty of kangaroo. Kangaroo is one of the most nutritious red meats you can actually get. And if it's cooked well, then it's quite yummy. You're coming to visit Australia for sure. Yeah, come please. And yeah, the food in Australia is, I got to say, I've travelled and lived in lots of different countries and it's out of this world. It's really, really good. It's kind of the best of a lot of places. Anyway, let's go back to music and I won't show you any more spiders, I promise. I'm getting everything ready for the launch on July 22nd, and I was looking through a whole lot of live clips that I'd done in the past, and I did something called Spotlight on Sydney. Vegemite, yeah, Vegemite's good. You might not think so. I love Vegemite. I was looking through a whole lot of live clips, and I did this thing called Spotlight on Sydney recently, and if you have a look on YouTube, you'll be able to see a whole lot of really varied Sydney-based artists and friends of mine, musicians and videographers and studio owners have kind of got together to put together like a TV show on YouTube about all different artists. And so I thought I'd play you a little bit of the live clip that we did actually from my previous launch, which was a mini album called Polaroids and Postcards. And this is the kind of thing that I will be doing at my launch. I'm going to have a live band, but I'm also going to have a DJ because I have a very big electronic element in my music. And, I can do things completely live, but I do like the mix of both. Now you want to listen to Men at Work, Land Down Under. That is a good song. But this is a song from my previous EP called Polaroids and Postcards, and it's the title track. It's actually about the breakdown of a relationship with a friend rather than a boyfriend. Oops. That's not going to work. Here we go.
Didn't like the same bands, didn't fight over the same man. I really miss you and me. You know I didn't ever mean to let you fall in my slipstream. Do you ever think of me? A dress I wore, a song I used to adore. By away those Polaroids and postcards. Now time's persuaded, those memories are fading. But are they bitter or sweet? Souvenirs and mistakes, putting back together heartbreaks. I really miss you and me. A dress I wore, a song I used to adore. Back away those Polaroids and postcards. I'm the same girl, it's the same world. Just can't believe you're at a loss for words. You're the same girl with a new punchline. I'll keep your secrets, you know all of mine. A dress I wore, a song I used to adore. Pack away those Polaroids and postcards. A dress I wore, a song I used to adore. Back away those Polaroids and postcards.
So that was the live version of Polaroids and Postcards, and if you have heard the recorded version, it's quite different. There are no guitars on the live version, and Stu, you asked if I had a good guitarist. I do happen to have a good guitarist, you could see in that video clip, and I love Simon's guitar sounds. He really gets what I want. I love that David Lynch kind of, people call it, well, he calls it 1950s detective sound, and I adore that guitar sound for my music. I think it just works so perfectly. But when I recorded some of those songs, I decided not to use guitar. But then I love the idea of doing songs that, you know, come out one way, but then when you do them live, you do them differently, because a live experience should be a bit of a surprise, I think. And while I want to duplicate some of the sounds of the recording to make sure that, you know, it still sounds, it has the essence of that song, I love the idea of adding more. So Simon is going to play guitar on a whole lot of songs on Wallflower, which, you know, some of them do already have guitar, some of them don't. But he's going to add his beautiful guitar sounds on top for the live versions anyway, which I'm very excited about. And so that's from my last EP, Polaroids and Postcards. And I've just put together what I call a visual album So I've got either lyric videos or music videos for each of the songs on that EP, and I've put them together in the order of the album, and I've pulled little clips where I've been interviewed about the particular songs, and I've put them in between. So you get the album as music videos, as well as the background story before each one. Oh, thank you, Philip. And so I'm actually going to... I've got a bit of a busy day tomorrow, so I won't get the chance to do a proper live stream. But what I'm going to do is I put that pre-recorded video together, which is about half an hour or so. So basically it's Polaroids and postcards, the visual album plus behind the songs. And I'm going to play it at the same time as I would do my Twitch on Wednesdays. So if you want to come and join me on Twitch, I'll actually be there. I'll be working on the side, but I'll be there in the chat. So if you want to see that visual album, the Polaroids and postcards, I'll be there tomorrow at 12:30. That's Sydney time. So that is about 25 minutes tomorrow. So it's 12:05 here at the moment. So that'll only be on Twitch and maybe on YouTube as well. So if you want to join me on either of those platforms, and please do come over to Twitch and check it out, because there are so many great live streams, really cool stuff there. So, Sydney, you asked about the roux, how you cook it. I think you cook it on the rarer side of things, because kangaroo can get pretty tough. When you think of all the like the kind of tough grasses and the really hardy shrubs and things that kangaroos eat, I can imagine that their meat would get pretty hard. And so, yeah, as I said, kangaroo meat is one of the most nutritious red meats you can get, but it's all in the cooking. I've actually had kangaroo sushi, which is really yummy. I'm a sashimi. I love sashimi at the best of times, but kangaroo actually makes really good sashimi. So there you go. And I've had emu, and yeah, well, you're making me want to go non-vegetarian again. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope that you can join me on Twitch tomorrow at 12:30. As I said, I won't actually be there on the screen, but I'm going to play that visual album, and I will be in the chat, if you happen to want to join me. And I'm going to try and keep that up, because I do want to be consistent. But things are busy at the moment because the launch is coming up, and because the live music scene, touch wood, is getting busy as well. So I'm going to try and always do, within reason, when I can, the 11 o'clock here on the Tuesday, and Wednesday on Twitch at 12:30. So thank you. So lovely to see you all, and have a wonderful week. Bye.